Good morning. Lake Winnipeg needs help. The lake is loaded with phosphorus, which affects its water quality and ecosystem, often leading to algae blooms at certain points in the year. New research is looking to find ways to control algae blooms with something called algae viruses. University of Winnipeg biology professor, microbiologist, and virologist Emily Chase is one of the scientists studying this. Emily Chase joins us now. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. Now, we know Lake Winnipeg is in trouble, right? What are some of the biggest factors that is affecting the lake?
So like you had introduced, there's a lot of nutrients. So we can call that eutrophication or excess nutrients. And this causes a lot of algal blooms. And then the downstream impacts of that is that people cannot swim in certain places because there might be toxins from the blooms.
Because they're not safe to be around, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if you see like a bloom warning, it's good not to swim in that part of Lake Winnipeg or any other lakes around Manitoba where there's bloom warnings. And then we also see downstream effects on fish stocks as well and other wildlife. So it's pretty important for us to understand what goes on in Lake Winnipeg from like a recreational standpoint. So, you know, if we're able to go out and enjoy the lake, also tourism standpoint, traditional standpoint, and also an economic standpoint for Manitobans.
Okay, and then there's algae virus.
Yeah.
What is the difference between a bloom and a virus?
So the bloom would be that there's like an excess of the microalgal cells, because even though it looks like just a bunch of green scum, it's actually millions and millions and trillions of tiny little single-celled organisms. And because there's so many, you can see them. And then the viruses, you don't see them with the naked eye, but they're in there. So they might not start appearing until the bloom has been progressing for a while. Okay. But you can track them using the microbiology methods that I apply. And what we've noticed is as virus counts, so the amount of viruses in the lake, goes up in that bloom, you'll see the bloom collapse. So it's important for us to use these sorts of data and use this sort of information to try to figure out when blooms might dissipate, and then people could swim again or people could fish, this sort of thing.
Can you manipulate the viruses so they can attack more blooms?
In theory, you could do this. There's microbiology techniques to accomplish that, but it would be a really long procedure and something really cool to try to tackle. Okay,
so they're basically related to each other. You need one with the other in order for it to work, or are they just sort of bloom all of a sudden, like the virus, I mean?
So they'll be there, present in small amounts. As we know, viruses are hard to get rid of, right? They kind of like appear, disappear, reappear, this sort of thing. It's the same thing with algae. So there'll be a small amount of viruses always around the lake, and then because they propagate using the microalgae, so they infect them, they create more. Just like when we're infected, we cough and we put more viruses out there. It's the same thing with the algae. They put more out there.
That's fascinating. So this summer you'll be doing research out there to find out more.
Yeah, exactly. I'll get to go out on Lake Winnipeg and enjoy the water.
And of course, the research that you come up with will be studied and looked at from other people with other water bodies around the world as well. Well, thank you for sharing this with us.
Thank you.
You'll have to come back and let us know how it went.